Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and we're back with another review. Today we are taking a look at, from the, I guess you can say it's wave 1 of the Minicon Weaponizer packs. This is Sideswipe with its partner Windstrike. Now, as I mentioned in the Strong Arm review, these are a little bit different. These aren't verse packs, as it's an Autobot figure, Commander class figure, with an Autobot Minicon. Now, in this case, it is a repaint of the Minicon Battle Pack Sideswipe. And there, as you can see, the Windstrike, which I've been known to make a few Windstrikes in my time, thank you, is a really cool looking sword. This is the armored up version with all the little bits and drabs, and the transformation is, it could actually transform just like Sawtooth, although I will say it's a little more delicate. So what you want to do is those little end pieces that just fell off right here, they do not want to stick on. They actually clip on around the edges here. But this is Windstrike, and it's robot mode. It is not a one-step changer because you do have to flip the feet up and flip the blade around, but yeah, it's kind of cool. So you can see the face there. Nice smiling grin. The instructions are a little unclear about what to do with this piece. That's the face mask for Sideswipe, which we'll see in its robot mode. But yeah, it's a cool little figure. Let me just move it out of the way. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, the Armour Bits don't peg onto it as well as, say, Sawtooth, so it loses some points there. But I like it a little more than Sawtooth because it's a sword. Now here's Sideswipe. Excuse me, a little phlegm right there. This is a repaint. It's based off the Alpine Sideswipe Legion class figure. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there. It is the exact same figure as the Wave 1 Minicon Battle Pack figure. It has the same ports and everything. So, it rolls just as nicely. So if you like that one, you'll like this one. I can understand why they didn't just re-release the figure with a new Minicon, and I do appreciate that, which gives me a little bit of hope that we might see Optimus Prime in his new cartoon paint scheme, although he's really not going to be featured in the show much anymore. But that's a little bit maybe for the cartoon discussion. Let's take a look at Sideswipe in robot mode. We skipped over the transformation because it's exactly the same as the Wave 1 figure, if you want to go ahead and check out my review on that. But I gotta tell you, the paint really isn't that much to write home about. It's just white. In fact, I think it could have used a little more red. I mean, I appreciate the black here, breaking things up, but maybe a little more splotch of red on the legs, or maybe on the chest. A light bar would have helped things, maybe. Actually, well, no, that would probably end up on the back, so you'd still have the same problem. Maybe, left the elbows here black and made the shins here red. One thing I do want to mention is the joints are just a little bit tighter, which I really appreciate. But unfortunately, and I can't remember from the original Sideswipe, the head is either frozen in place because of paint, or it was just never rotated. I don't think it rotated. I think because of the face mask helmet type of deal, it was frozen. So the next step is just to go ahead and add on the Armour Bits, which we'll just do right now. I took them off of Windstrike. Now, I know many of you are asking the big question, and the big question is, from what I can gather, and from my own checking, yes, these Armour Bits are compatible with the other Sideswipe because it's the same holes and it's using the same pre-existing pegs and stuff. But you can't wear them both at the same time. The only thing that can carry over is, if you remember, that Wave 1 Sideswipe had a little ninja star that pegged into the wheel well here. That can still do it. So you can actually maybe mix and match, have some fun. I wouldn't mind that cross-play pattern. The other thing, unfortunately, a little bit of a downer, is this chest piece kind of has a hard time pegging in. I mean, I really have to use a lot of force to get it to go in, and you just gotta. What it looks like is either the pegs aren't deep enough. Oh, there we go. Or there might be like the paint and what have you. Kind of interferes. I don't know if that really makes sense, but I mean, that's the issue I have. Also, now for these arm bits, you see there's the two pegs there from where the claws were. There's actually a longer peg and then a little stubby nub. The longer peg goes into the upper hole, and that nub just basically sits in the lower one, basically holding it into place so it doesn't rotate around. And you do that on both sides of the figure here, just like so. So, I mean, it looks good. I mean, Sideswipe was always a good armored figure. The next step is you want to take these leg bits, and with the little fins here facing outwards, you want to just peg it into the lower port, and then realistically, that should just like rotate over so that it'll hook on top here of the knee. I mean, it's not blocking the knee, but it's to cover that hole. And let me just, and I should mention that the armor bits do feel a little tighter. Maybe it's because they don't have to combine together. But like as I mentioned, they are a little flimsy going onto Windstrike. So you do, there you go, and then just like that. Or actually, I think you want to have it, I'm sorry, a little off to the side, just like that. And finally, the bits are the extra sword blades. Now, of course, you do see the handles there. They can peg into Sideswipe's hand if I don't push them out with my finger, just like that. But they are meant to go on his back. And this is a little tricky, because basically you're using those slots. And let's see if I can show you here. There's like clear plastic, the orange, right where my finger is. There's like an angle piece that if you make it, or actually, also helps if you remember what side these go on. There you go. And yes, it is this difficult, believe it or not. Yeah. See, these do have like a fixed side that they go on, and there we go. Basically, that tab pegs in there, and then the opening there kind of loops around that piece. It would be exponentially easier if this was not clear plastic. I'm just going to throw that out there. Right, for those of you following along at home. But, oh, thank God. There you go. There's Sideswipe, all armored up. He looks cool. Believe it or not, for the effort, I do like those little the back wings. You know, the arms and the leg stuff, I don't think is as good as the Wave 1 set. Because if you remember, that really covered the forearm, covered the legs a bit more. This, it's more like, you know, just like little dribs and drabs. And while we're here, let me bring in Windstrike. Oh, come on, stand up. You. The backpack does make Sideswipe a little top-heavy, but nothing that can't be fixed. But anyway, here's Windstrike, all unarmored. Now, the transformation, basically what you want to do is flip the feet down, unpeg the blade from his backpack, wheel it around like that, and then just go ahead and pulling on the arm, it'll collapse the head in and bring the arms a little closer together, and you get a pretty cool looking sword. Although it's nowhere near as cool looking as the picture shows, and the picture also shows it with a blue blade. But such is the life. Now, unfortunately, there's two problems here. Number one, pushing the handle into the hand kind of causes everything to pop back out. So the other problem is that because of his car panels there, Sideswipe really can't hold this as tightly as as straightly as you would assume for a sword wielding robot. It looks nice, but I'm sure with other warrior class figures, it'll look a little bit better because they won't have that paneling and what have you. But as you can see, it's a really cool Minicon, and it really is just a really great looking set. I know most people are going to pick up that strong arm set first just because it's a new mold and it's a fairly decent strong arm that's a little more show accurate than the Wave 1 toy. I like the articulation of these. I think I like them a little bit better than the Warrior class figures, because even though the Warrior class figures technically have more joints, there's a lot more kibble on them, or the kibble is of a size and a position on the mold that kind of interferes with the articulation. Now, I want to say that you really shouldn't pass on this Sideswipe. The white looks nice. The armor is compatible with the older one, so if anything, you can just take the armor and the Minicon and slap it on that one, which, you know, because, I mean, that's a little more cartoon accurate. But, I mean, definitely this Minicon, I mean, I can tell you right now, I think I've already seen from pictures that Windstrike gets repainted a few times, if not retooled, into like different swords and what have you, but it's the same generic gimmick. I'm a lot more excited for these Weaponizer Minicons than the regular deployer ones, just because there's a little more involved with them, a little more interactivity. Now, I mentioned earlier the Robots in Disguise cartoon. I think Season 2 just finished, so I think we're actually, I heard something about a TV movie, so maybe we're going to start seeing these armor sets, because, spoilers! In the finale, we see Steeljaw combining the Decepticon hunters, and in doing so, getting his own set of armor. So maybe we'll actually get a new Steeljaw figure with armor. But in that way, it kind of explains how these guys can get their armor. And maybe like the Decepticon, you know, the verse packs from Wave 1, and that now that the Minicons, more Minicons have been introduced, we'll see the Weaponizers, and that will get the armorized Weaponizers whatever. I'm just trying to see how they can bring this into the cartoon, even though there's absolutely no reason or precedent for them to do that. You know, that's just unfortunately how it is. All the way back to G1, there were plenty of figures that were never featured into the cartoon. So I got this figure off a Big Bad Toy Store along with Strong Arm. As of this recording, it hasn't hit any of the main online retail sites like Amazon. Maybe it's on eBay, but it's probably going for like a scalper price. In store, the brick and mortar retail, the Minicon Verse packs are just starting to hit the saturation point. So I don't think it'll be anything until maybe later summer that we'll see these starting to hit those shelves. So if you want it, your best bet is to go to Big Bad. They have it basically for retail. You can get them as a set with Strong Arm. This is your old pal Chuck for Sideswipe and Windstrike. We will see you next time.